police are sharing body camera video of the moments that led to an officer-involved shooting and killing of a suspect in East Price Hill.
And WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak has been leading the way on this investigation for us. She's live right now, walking us through the video. Hi, Danielle.
Hi there, Mike. This video is very fast. We're talking about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle and fired those shots. I do want to warn you, what you're about to watch could be hard to see.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky. GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Price Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
All four individuals get out and start running.
On your right! On your right!
Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpster.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
4 to 5 rounds were fired. The suspect was hit twice, given medical care right away, and died. Thiegy says this is the gun the suspect had, a semi-automatic with an extended magazine, with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic.
Police also told us that a stolen gun was found inside that stolen Kia. At this time, we still do not have the identity of the person who was shot and killed. All police could tell us is that he was approximately 18 years old. Reporting live in East Price Hill tonight, Danielle Dindak, WLWT News 5.
Hey, yo, man. Now, this one here, man. This is this is just a big mess, man. It's just a big mess, you know. Now, here you got a young brother, right? Who I don't know. I don't have any information on this young brother's background, but I know that he was 19 years old, right? He was likely probably hanging with, you know, individuals that probably was up to no good. They say that they stole a vehicle, and somehow they ended up in this complex, this apartment complex. And one way or another, the police, whether they were called or they just arrived on the scene and, you know, ran the tags or whatever, however they came in contact. They came in contact. And as the police encountered these young guys in this SUV, they fled the vehicle. And as you can see, this young guy, when he fled the vehicle, it was multiple of them. When they fled the vehicle, they all, you know, dispersed in their own directions. But this particular young guy, as they say, he had a firearm with an extended clip. You know, we like to call them extendos or ladders or whatever. But he had an extended magazine and a Glock. And anybody, man, with any type of street knowledge, I like to say this, man, and I hate to stop what I'm saying to say this, but anybody with any type of street knowledge, man, you know, whether you're a rookie at criminal activity or you know, this is just a thing that you've been doing for a long time. Anybody, common sense, if you're already in a stolen vehicle and the police you come in contact with the police, if you have to bail out of that vehicle, you're going to leave that firearm in the vehicle. You know, that's just common sense, man. You don't want to be seen jumping out of a stolen vehicle with a firearm in hand. You know, that was the biggest mistake of this whole situation. And I believe that plays a part into this whole big mess, man. Of this whole thing just blowing up into a mess, you know. Now, as the young brother, you know, fled law enforcement, he tripped. And they show him on the ground, you know, where they say he tripped and he got up and he still had his hand, you know, he was still holding on to the firearm. And the officer who shot him wasn't even pursuing him. He was pursuing somebody else. But he happened to spot this young brother with the gun in his hand, you know. And let me tell you something. Whenever a police officer yell, he's got a gun, whether he has a gun or he don't. Whenever you hear the police officer yell, he's got a gun, they finna shoot somebody, you know. They finna let some shots off, man. Because, and I have to say, man, I think this is like some type of, this got to be something amongst the police, man. Something within their code, you know, the thin line of blue, you know, within their little huddle, man, to protect themselves. I believe that it's something between them that they all have an understanding that if you feel like your life is in danger, you have that body cam on and just make sure that you say he's got a gun or he's reaching or something so that they have something to back them up when it's time to review and investigate these body cams. Because there have been so many times, man, where these officers yell, he's got a gun and he don't have a gun. You know, he might be reaching for a cell phone or, you know, reaching for his license in the glove compartment. You know, or just anything, man, or you know, just taking the keys out the ignition. And just a slight shoulder movement or arm movement can cost somebody their life, man. Because you have a shaky officer, you know, that probably shouldn't even be on duty. You know, he probably should be at doing some desk work or just patrolling the park or something. Just something less than being out in the line of duty, man, where things can really take a wild turn, man, any given second. You know, now I've reviewed this video, and now what I disagree with, man, what really rubs me the wrong way is this police commissioner, man, this lady, man, the way she give this press conference. And she say, they noticed that when the young brother was getting up, he had the gun pointed at the officer. You know. Now, what people have to understand is this is what these officers do all the time, man. You have to understand, if you have a firearm, man, and the officer is pursuing you, you know, you really have no chance, man, because that's the officer's cue. And that's just his chance at immunity. You know, that's just his protection, man. That's everything. That's all that he need, man, to take your life away. Just the fact that you had a firearm. You could be running away. Whatever happened to, if someone is running away with their back turned, they are not a threat. You know. So they understand, these officers have to say that this gun was pointed at them to make this shooting justifiable. And this type of thing happen all the time, and this is what they do. You know? It's sad, man, that we live in a time, man, where this type of thing still goes on, man. Nothing's changed, man. You know, and we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go, man. The black community, man, it is not the same as it is in some of these white communities, man. You know, in these suburb communities, man, they support the police. You can ride down almost any suburban block where there's mostly white people, and you will see. You will see an example. They have signs in their lawns that say that we support our law enforcement. It is not the same. It's not the same tone, man, when you go across that line, man, into the impoverished areas, into the inner cities, man, where there's mainly black people. It's a whole different tone, man. It's the police. They're not protecting and serving us the way they should, man. And they should and they should be treating everyone equally, man. You know, everyone is paying tax. You know, everyone is paying taxes, and contributing to, you know, their salary, man, and you know, just their livelihood. Them being able to provide for their families, man. Everybody, it's not just, you know, a certain demographic. You know, people had jobs on all different scales, man. And no matter what you do here in America, man, as long as you're living on the soil, you have to pay taxes. You know, so it always rubs me wrong, man, when I see things like this, man, because it's unfortunate, man, that this type of thing just happens so often. You know, I mean, as you can see, with Philando Castile, man, Breonna Taylor, you know, it's just so many. It's too many, man. It's just too many, man. And I'm lost for words, really, man. But anyway, as you can see, they shot this young brother dead. Now, the twist to this whole thing is, this time, they shot the wrong young brother dead, you know. Because although he had a gun in his hand, they took this young brother's life. He has a grieving family as a result of that. And this young man, his father, was grieving. And I don't know what led, you know, it may have been grief, but I don't know what led to this father seeing a police officer, a random police officer, and the brother just, you know, he came to the idea to say, I'm going to take my vehicle and I'm going to ram the hell out of this officer. And that's exactly what he did. He took his vehicle. The officer may not even been paying attention, but this grieving father took that vehicle and he ran any random officer that he seen. This is a grieving father, man. Y'all just took his son, you know. Who knows how close this guy and his son was, man. You know, and when people feel like there is no due justice, you have a police commissioner lying, you know, they showing parts of the body cam footage, and they, you know, they're giving their press conferences and they're lying and saying that your son, you know, pointing a gun at the officer, and that justified your son not being here anymore. You know, I could kind of understand this father's rage, you know, as he's grieving in this moment, man. But he took it upon himself to ram a random officer, man, and he took this officer's life. And as you can see, after that, you know, he's taken into custody. He probably feel like, you know, do whatever y'all need to do with me. I got my justice. I got my justice. Whether y'all give me life in prison or whatever y'all do with me, I got my justice. You know, karma is a bitch. Y'all took one, I took one. Now we even. You know, regardless to how anybody might see it, this is the type of thing that happens when the thin line of the blue protect each other, their fellow officers, no matter the situation, whether they're right or wrong. You know, when they bring up all type of lies, and they just, you know, they back the play, whatever it is. You know, just the code of the blue, they back it at all means, man, whether right or wrong. You know, this time is unlike any other time, man. This family, this father, is unlike many other families and many other fathers, man, of some of the past victims that these police mowed down violently. You know, just with no care in the world, man, because they knew they would have qualified immunity. once they, once they conjure up a lie, man, once they work themselves up a lie within their department. Hey, if you enjoy watching videos like these, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Help your boy get into the algorithm so that I can continue to bring you more videos just like the one you just watched. Anyway, until next time, y'all stay up.
Yeah. Devil let to my soul, I can't let him get to me. Can't let him get to me. Trying to be a different man, I'm not who I used to be. Had to switch my whole imagery, I'm a changed man. If I didn't believe in myself, who would've believed in me? Even when I was down, nobody knew I needed help. Who would've thought I ain't eat? Many days, many nights had to swallow my pride and just go to sleep.